Hi, this is Kim with Kim Rippere with Craftisan Studios. For this Periscope, I am going to talk about some ColorBox products. The reason I'm talking about them is because I am on the iConnect Crafts design team, and we are having a blog hop with them in early May. So we got some of their products, and I wanted to play around with them. And I thought I just might make a short video showing what I got and play around and see what happens. So the first thing is iConnect Crafts. They make these chipboard totems and poppets. And they make some lace-ups too, which are, I have one here. So they're really nice, and I thought we could play around with these. This is you know, the negative of a snowflake, star, whatever you want to call that. And this is a little arch. So let's talk a little bit about what I got from them. The first thing I got, or one thing that I got, is are these Mix'd Media Inks. And they sent me a whole lot of them, which I thought was really nice. And they stacked together. And so what I did was put these labels on them because I couldn't handle going through them every single time trying to figure out what was what. So they do stack together, and so that's why they're all labeled like that. So here we have Peridot, which I think is a little more aqua than what I would call Peridot, which I think is more like a green chartreuse color, but this is a really pretty aqua. And then there's Chiffon, which is a nice pink that isn't, it still has some life, although it is not that bright. So it's a more of an antique color. And then this Schoolhouse, which is a, I would call it a deep maroon. And this is really good. This one's very juicy because I played around just a little bit with it, with these earlier. And then this is the Chiffon. Sorry, I didn't open the lid. Here's Patina, which is a nice, deep, rich, I would call it like a medium blue. Jasmine, which is white. Truffle, which is a very, very, very dark brown. And then these two are, this one is vintage and this one is honey. And I might have screwed up the caps, but you know, the colors. This one looks like honey to me. It's very yellow. And this one looks like vintage. It's more of a tan, sort of linen-y color. Okay, so that's sort of the first thing. These are just, oh, so the thing about these is this case is actually pliable. So you can, let's do it with this. You can actually move this and stamp like that, you know? So it is pliable. And then the other thing is, because it's pliable, you can push the color into the top and just use some of the color from the lid. So that's those. This is a little, this is called Emboss Gloss. This is the packaging. And this is basically is like a tube of lip stuff that you use as your embossing liquid. So I'll be interested to experiment with that. And then these are the stylus. This is a stylus, and you get 3 of these in the package, and I don't know where the package went. And then I got 2 ends. This end is the blender foam tip, and this end is called a Moldable Foam stamp. And this is actually really cool. I have played around with it so that I'll understand what I'm doing a little bit. And then This is my early playing around. This is Nina Solar White 80 pound, and this is watercolor paper. So that's what we have. I've got another piece of Nina Solar White, and I've got some watercolor paper, and then we've got this piece from iConnect Crafts to play around with. And that's the plan. I'm just going to play around for a little bit. So one thing, I'm going to use the chiffon on the stylus. One thing that when I was reading about this is to not kind of scrub with the stylus, but to go in one direction and build up the color. Because if you, you know, go back and forth, this is not that firm and it's going to tear. So if you don't want it to tear, treat it with a little TLC. It's really nice. Let's see how another light color would blend in with that. So I'm just going to get a different one so that I have, and this is easy to take out. You just pull it out. And then I'm going to go with the peridot and see. Yeah, that gives you a really nice mix of things. Okay, so I'm going to stamp. I'm using rubber dance stamps because these are also something that I got through being on the iConnect Crafts design team. So here's some just stamping with the schoolhouse. That's the maroon color. Oh, I should have put the hands on there. Let's see what happens with the hands. It's a really good print considering that there's no backing to kind of give it anything to move in, you know, move into. Let's try that again. Let's get all, see if we can't get all those details stamped. Wow, that's really awesome. There's a lot of detail in there. Okay, so I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. Let's work on the now I can't find, there's my watercolor pen. So let's try well, let's try this blue patina. I'm just going to wet this a little bit. Let's try this. See what happens. See how that's all bleeding out? That's really pretty. Let's try it over here where it's dry. And then I'm just going to pick up a little bit of water from over there and see what happens. those kind of bled out a lot. There was a lot of water there. How about if we put some water, and I'm just gonna dab it off so it's not quite as wet and see what happens. So that area is wet, it's just not, you know, the water isn't standing on the top. So let's see what happens this way. So that's a softer image. Let's see, we'll have to see how much it, you know, bleeds. So we've got some of this red in the lid. I'm just going to clean off my brush. Let's play around with that a little bit. See what happens if we get, ooh, that's a really that's really nice color. Very pigmented. I still like these butterflies. You can still, you know, identify that they're butterflies, but they've really bled a lot. And that, you know, that's a specialized look, but it does that very well. So patina on patina, schoolhouse on schoolhouse. I'm just going to clean that off. Let's do a little playing around with this moldable side. This is really, really cool. So that is, when I was testing, that is what all these circles are. Basically, this is a part of a stamp that you make an impression on this moldable foam, and it stays there until you heat it up again. And then when you heat it up, it turns in, you can have a different impression. So you're supposed to do it in, you know, on a 40-watt light bulb, which I don't happen to have one of those handy. So what I'm going to do is, and I've tested this, and this is not what they tell you to do, but I'm just going to use my heat tool. And then all you do is you press it down until it cools. And I don't know if you can see it, but there's ridges there, like from the fingers, that weren't there before. So let's try this honey or vintage, whichever one it really is supposed to be. Well, it worked the other when I tested it. Let's try it one more time. There they are. They're a little more prominent this time. So let's give it another try. There you go. I love this. It's like a little portal, like you're looking in at something. Let's see what happens if we do it on the butterflies. I can see it right there. So basically what I'm looking at when I'm doing the heat gun is I'm waiting. I can see that image that's on there releasing, and once it's done that, then I know it's hot enough that I can stamp it onto something else. How cute! That's great. Let's try that in the truffle so that you can see how deep this color is. There you go. Love that. It's a great little way to extend your stamps. That's the word. And now the last thing I want to do is play around with this Emboss Gloss sort of lipsticky thing. The idea is that, you know, you can put it in more particular areas. So I'm just going to put it in between those fingers. Well, maybe I should have, let's see if it, it had dried. So now I'm just going to heat this. There it is. It did a really good job. So let's do a butterfly in the middle, and then this will be the last thing that we do. We're going to do a butterfly, and then we're going to, you know, emboss the middle with a different color. You probably cannot even see that. Let's do it with the darker blue. Now I'm going to dry it. I'm going to put the Emboss Gloss, that is not the right thing, the Emboss Gloss, whoops, left-handed, you know, in the areas where there's more pigment. And apparently it's not completely dried. Let's do orange. So then the orange just stuck where I put it, where I put the Emboss Gloss. There you have it. I may not have let it set all the way. And I guess I said the last thing, but I want to do one last thing, which you can see I did over here, which is just, I did a little rubbing it to see what would happen. This is what happens on the watercolor paper with just my finger, and this is the watercolor brush, which I kind of like how that came out, and this is the wet paper. So I'll just go back to the blue. Stamp it. Give it a little second to set. And then let's see what happens. Again, this is the Nina Solar White, and 80 pound, and this is a watercolor brush. So let's see. I'm hardly applying any pressure, and it's, you know, it's filling in that white part so that that white part is light blue. So there you have it. A little playing around with ColorBox and iConnect Crafts. And thank you for joining me.